Hello, and welcome back to the Who Are You podcast. I'm your host, Connor Overbay, every single week coming out from Jacksonville, Florida. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, make sure you guys give us a follow on all our social media. It's going to be at Who Are You Podcast for everything, or excuse me, at Who Are You Pod for everything on Instagram, X, TikTok, pretty much everything now, Facebook, all the normal spots, and including YouTube. We appreciate everybody who's been checking out the YouTube channel. We did just start I would say about 6-7 weeks ago, and we appreciate the audience that's coming in there and checking us out, leaving comments, all that good stuff. If this is your first time, like I said, just give us a follow, a subscribe, all the normal spots. And as well, something I've been kind of teetering back and forth with as well for the podcast is we are opening up spots for sponsorships in the podcast. So if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or even just someone who wants to promote, whether it's a party or, if you guys have an event going on somewhere in Jacksonville or even outside of Jacksonville, feel free to hit me up. We can talk pricing and we can go from there. But today we're sitting down with two very special guests. I guess you guys are both Jort Bois, right?
We are.
And then obviously the Happy Dad hats over here as well. So Thank you guys for sitting down with me. Colin, what is your last name?
Stevens.
Colin Stevens. And then I'm sitting down with Mark. What's your last name?
Giza,
that's right. We were talking a little bit before. I'm horrible with names, but
You're good, brother. We've been called worse.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Either way, I'm more than happy to have you guys here on the podcast today. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you both are, you guys are all over social media. You guys work your jobs as well, so I know you guys are hustlers. But before we get started with the interview, please let everybody know where they can follow each of you guys, whether it's social media or anything else you want to promote.
Yeah, man. You can follow us on the Jort Bois on Instagram. It's at JORTBOIS. We do a lot of content, party promos. We also do security work out of the beach bars here in town. And Instagram at Jort Bois is where you can find us.
Hell yeah. You can give your personal ones too out if you want to.
I'll give my personal.
It's
going to be at Gark, GARK _ Miza, MIZA.
That was what was messing up me in my head. I was like, you switched the first letter of your first and last name, right, for the Instagram?
Yeah.
That's what was messing with me. I didn't want to say it wrong. But like I said, guys, welcome to the podcast today. You guys both do a bunch of different stuff, whether it's around Jacksonville. I've been aware of, the Jort Bois and obviously Happy Dad. That's a huge brand. I've been aware of you guys for a little while. So the main thing I wanted to get to know today is how did the Jort Bois start?
So we actually started off, it's Mark and myself and two other guys, Rocket and Mikey, and we all used to bounce at a bar out in Jack's Beach. We used to have a lot of regulars come in that, asked us, when are you off? We want to come drink with you. And we were also tired of being just known as 1-star Yelp reviews. That's pretty much all you get when you're a bouncer at a club. No one leaves a 5-star review because they felt safe, right?
Yeah.
You get a 1-star Yelp review for getting kicked out and they feel like we didn't do our jobs properly or a kick out went south. And we convinced the bar owners to let us create an Instagram page so to let people know that we are friendly. We're not just here to punch you in the face. We do go out and have a fun time. We're normal people, right? We're not just pieces of shit. So we came up with the Jort Bois. We were all wearing jorts to work. It would start off as a Jort Bois Saturday, and our entire staff would wear jorts to work. Well, we came up with the Instagram, started posting when we were all off, when we were going out, and really right off rip, like 50 to 75 people would show up just to hang out with us on our days off.
That's badass.
So, yeah, it was a really cool following, and we really gained traction fast out there at the beach. And like I said, we'd let people know when we were off and drinking, and people would show up and hang out with us. And that's when Mark, myself, and the other two guys sat down. Like, we actually have something here. We could do more than just let people know that we're off and down to drink. And from that started off just by us grabbing a beer after work or before work, whatever. And it started. Then it kind of grew into us planning parties at different bars. Different bar owners started to hear about us and heard the traction that we were bringing in, and we started getting contacts from different business owners around town about, hey, if we pay you to come in, you think you could bring a crowd in, we'll throw a little party. And it started off with, like I said, maybe 50 people showing up our first night to we've thrown parties with over 1,000 people now. And it's been a really cool journey and roller coaster through the last couple of years.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be a little edgier with my answer.
Go right ahead.
Everything was correct, but a lot of it was when we're door guys, bouncers, all that, customers come in and we're the first people to talk to them, right? And they would always give us ideas like, oh, this bar should do this, that, like all these great ideas. And it was like, we would go up and tell like bar manager
or a GM or
whatever.
something.
And, they're like, what do you know? You're just a door guy. you know? So it was almost, at least for me personally.
So we took matters into our own hands.
Yeah.
That's a slight, man. I don't fucking like that.
It's a slight. And it's like, okay, but how it started was, you know, we would just go out. We'd get a huge following just going out, just posting that we're going out. And it got to a point where bars kind of then took notice, and we're like, okay, maybe they do have an idea.
Well, you
and
guys
kind of just started, and it's like, then we started throwing parties, and now some of the same bars that are like, what do you know? Are just like, hey, let's party.
Check. Yeah.
Well, you
and
guys,
honestly, it's like, sorry.
No, you guys go right ahead.
But honestly, though, it's like, it's no hard feelings. Like, we're friends with all of them. They're great people.
Yeah.
And we can kind of understand their kind of mindset, because I did talk to one guy. He's been party promoting forever, and it's kind of like the coolest thing I've heard since we've been the Jort Bois. He was like, we're the first people to ever just skip being like a bartender, bar manager, GM, and go straight into party promotion. We went from door guys, party promoters. And he said, he's been doing it for like 10 plus years. He's like, you guys are an anomaly.
It's kind of ironic what we do, because during the week we kick people out for partying, and then when we're off, you know, we make sure we throw the best parties in town. So,
well, what you guys do is commodity. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been hit up by like party promoters and all that stuff, and I look on their page and I'm just like, it's just like, it doesn't look like it. Like what you guys throw, it's like Project X. When I see on there, it's like oh shit.
We've had meetings with even hotels in the past that want to bring us in just so they can get a little bit more business, and it's, you know, we're down. We'll throw you a party, we'll bring you the business, but just so you know, like, you need to be well staffed and you need to be prepared for what we're going to bring in, because it's a lot different than what a lot of these businesses are probably used to.
Well, especially down at the beach bars, man. I'm sure, as you guys know, working down there and everything, everybody is competing for the eyeballs or having someone come in and get at least one drink, you know, kind of check out the bar and everything. Because if you're not from Jacksonville, it's a whole strip. It's literally a whole strip of bars. Right. And like my favorite place down there is like Flying Iguana. That's one of my favorite bars. Not even bar, it's a bar and restaurant. Or it's not even there anymore. Is Hoptingers.
Oh, yeah.
Hoptingers is gone now, too. Or no, is it expanding?
Shim Sham's gone, but they're expanding out. So should be a couple weeks away from reopening.
And speaking of the beach bars, I was on a cruise when we had a crazy event go down at the beach bars where that shooting happened and everything. Yeah. Were you guys down there at the time when all that went down?
Yeah, I was probably one of the closest bouncers to the first shooting that day.
Fuck that.
So it was kind of scary. It's funny to go back and watch the video, because in my head, you see me hear it happen, and I joke to my left. And in my head, I remember like jumping into action and just to keep the patrons in the bar safe. But if you go back and look at it on camera, I like slowly get out of my chair and just, you know, conveniently walk inside the bar, and I shut everything down. But yeah, the first shooting happened about 100 yards from me. So we were happy to every bar out there and every patron that was inside every bar in Jack's Beach was kept safe that day. So as bouncers, that's our number one job, right? Is to make sure the people inside of our bars are safe. And we were happy to, you know, admit that we did our job that day. So it's unfortunate to hear that people, you know, were injured and someone did lose their life. But as far as what our job entails, and it's keeping people inside the bar safe, we did accomplish that. You
took care of it.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to, say, an active shooter or anything like that, are you guys able to carry to protect that?
We're not. No.
These bars, right? It's like a law. You can't have a firearm in a bar.
So certain clubs in the United States and in the state of Florida will have Class G and Class D and Class F licensing for certain employees to carry. Mm-hmm. We are not licensed. We're not insured, especially at some of the bars, you know, more so than others. So we do not carry.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've always thought that, because, like, you know, sometimes you're like with that situation right there. If homie comes in that bar, you're kind of sitting there with your pants down. You're like, fuck, you're like, you know what I mean? But obviously, you did what you guys did. You know, barricade, close doors, get inside.
Yeah, and it's like when it came to that day, everything we could have done, whether it was like pat downs, bag checks, whatever, nothing would have prevented that day, because it happened all outside.
Gotcha.
I mean, so
it's an unfortunate reputation that was brought into the city of Jack's Beach, because it wasn't locals. It wasn't people that are hanging out there all the time. These are people that travel and want to enjoy spring break or run their own events out on the beach and come from other parts of town. And it just makes us as a city look bad. On top of throwing the best parties in town, our goal is to put Jack's Beach on the map. Yeah. So far, we're doing a good job at it for the people that live here. But we're trying to grow bigger and better. And hearing a tragedy that makes national news like that definitely puts a setback on things at times.
It does, but unfortunately, Jacksonville has a little bit of that stigma. And like, I was born and raised here, you know, so I've seen, you know, it go in its ebbs and flows. Like, you know, Jacksonville right now is obviously a booming city.
Right.
People are moving down here, businesses are coming here and everything. And it's crazy to see the growth from. I remember when Beach Boulevard and like Atlantic were just trees. There wasn't all these businesses, or even the beach bars weren't even as big of a thing now, or as they are now. And it's been crazy to see the growth. And I think Jacksonville is going to get that stain removed. But at the end of the day, is all cities have these issues. Every single one.
This big. You know?
Yeah, like you go up to Philadelphia, like
they have good parts and they have bad parts.
Yeah, I
100%.
hate Philadelphia. I'm from Pennsylvania. I hate Philadelphia.
My family's all from like Jersey, Bedford, Pennsylvania, near a place called Altoona. I don't know if you know where that is.
Oh, I know Altoona.
Yeah, so it's an even smaller town right beside it. It's like like 1,000, if not 2,000 people. That's where my mom's from. And then my dad grew up in Cherry Hill, like right near the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey. But I was born and raised here. They came down here and followed their jobs and everything.
Yeah,
they made the right choice.
Yes, I agree. I probably would have ended up dead running around up there doing the shit that was going on up there. Are you guys both from Jacksonville?
No,
well, actually, you're not. I know that.
Neither one of us are, actually.
Yeah,
let's say with Pennsylvania and everything. What part of Pennsylvania are you from?
So I grew up in the suburbs of Harrisburg.
Okay. I know where Harrisburg is. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then
I grew up just outside of Fort Lauderdale, down
really?
south. Yeah.
Okay.
So I moved up here when I turned 21, which is ironic because usually that's when everyone starts to enjoy Fort Lauderdale and Miami living.
Yeah.
I was already over it by the time I turned 21. So I spontaneously came up here with my old roommate and best friend for life. And I came up here to visit my cousin, and she said, you know, we were in the process of looking for an apartment back home in the Boca Raton area. I couldn't really find anything in our budget. And I called him. I said, what would you think about moving to a city where we don't know anyone? And he said, fuck it, let's go. So we scheduled a trip to come up here 2 weeks later and came out with a wild game plan where we found 2 jobs in an apartment in under 24 hours. We knew it was meant to be.
Hell yeah.
And 6 hours later, we signed 3 dotted lines and actually took ourselves to Surfer and enjoyed our drink. And 2 weeks later, we were living in Jacksonville.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Life came full circle, and it started my security career at Surfer years later.
Hell yeah.
That's stuck with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's good that you guys can have that group of friends, man. Like, you know my buddy Cam. I've known him since middle school. And then all the boys that you see me go up there, like Nolan, TJ, and all them. I've known Nolan since I was 5.
Oh, wow.
And been lucky to have a group of friends that we've all been friends for fucking ever now.
Yeah, exactly.
We hang out every weekend, go golfing every weekend, all this stuff, and brought me to meet you, actually, over doing the cornhole events. And you guys throwing one this Wednesday?
We are, yeah, 7 o'clock.
We'll be there.
Cool.
I would say. So I did have a question for you. So me and you were talking about Boston and everything. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. People are probably confused as shit when they see me wear a Boston Celtics shirt on here.
Baby.
So how
Show your tattoo.
Yeah,
that's the most confusing.
Well, that's when I asked him about, because I saw the Red Sox hanging out one day, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a Boston fan." So how did your Boston fandom come to be?
My dad's from Connecticut, so a split family. Half the family's New York, half the family's Boston, and I was lucky enough to choose the right side.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, I'm Celtics, Patriots, Sox, and Bruins all the way, baby.
Fuck the Patriots. Fuck the Knicks as well. By the way, they're in the playoffs right now. Say Celtics are going all the way.
They're not by the time this airs.
I think so. I think they won't be.
They're starting to blow it.
Are you guys Jags fans as well? I know you said you're a Patriots fan, but living in the city of Jacksonville, do you guys fuck
I show
with Jaguars?
support. Funny enough, I do have Trevor Lawrence tattooed on my ass. I had the opportunity of showing him once. So yeah, you know, we go to a couple Jags games a year, and we'll root for the team until the day they play New England. Then I'm all in on them.
Miles Jack wasn't down.
He wasn't
down.
No, he wasn't.
He was down.
He was not down.
Spend the next hour debating this.
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah, I got a friend for the Jags. He's one of the scouts. He scouts all the college players and all that.
Oh, really?
It's always been cool to us.
We still have a coach as well. Are they strength and conditioning, or is that
that's
the same guy you're talking
Ryan.
about? Scout. Okay.
Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah.
Stampier. But now, I'll show support because honestly, I like seeing the Jags win because the city's better.
Oh, 100%.
Everyone's happier. Everyone's in a better mood. And because we've been bouncing long enough, but we've seen the Jags absolutely suck and see them succeed. And when they succeed, everyone's just in a way better mood.
It's a different vibe.
Oh,
However, I'm a Steelers fan, and nothing was better than seeing them lose to the Titans this year and brought the Steelers in the playoffs with no quarterback for the Steelers. So that was great.
Hey, I don't hate on the Steelers. I remember watching Roethlisberger all those years. I was he was a freaking tank of a man, and just watching everything. But seeing the Jaguars go from winning one game a season to where they are now,
and big strides.
It's a crazy stride, and 100%. People are still putting all this pressure on Lawrence. I'm like, guys, do you not remember where were we at 3 years ago?
3 years ago, right?
We were shit.
Quick to forget.
No one wanted to come here, and nobody at all. And we had thugs on the team. We still have some, but let's say that say we got some guys who beat women who are kicked off the team now. But when it came to like the Jags, like you were saying, it just builds a city up. Like last year, I've told the story a bunch of times on the pod, but no, 2 years ago now, whenever we were against the Chargers and we were down 21 points.
Oh yeah,
me and her were at that stadium, and when I've never been in a situation where you can feel the energy in a room change.
Yeah.
Like whenever they scored that last touchdown right before halftime, and then we started coming back, and like at the last second field goal to win the game, I've never seen the city of Jacksonville hugging each other, yelling Duval, running up and down the street, like you guys were saying, just completely changed the city.
That's actually the game that led to me getting the ass tattoo. I was at that game as well, and I have the same tattoo as my buddy Joey. We made a deal with the other people in the box with us and said if they come back, we'll get ass tattoos. And sure enough, 28-point comeback. I got Trevor Lawrence on the SS Stevens and on the left hindquarters.
How'd that feel? I got tattoos on my arms, my chest, never got one on my ass.
Yeah, I got them all over my legs and chest and arms. So, I mean, the ass actually wasn't too bad, but it's awkward for sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, someone's not supposed to be down there as long as they were, so it was weird.
I'm sure Trevor Lawrence enjoyed you showing your ass tattoo
And
to
his
him.
wife, his O-line, they all saw it, yeah. But I'll tell you what, my ass made the local news.
I bet it did.
Yeah, we got free lunch for a week because of it. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, ass tattoos ain't bad. I got Jort Bois on my ass, so.
Yeah, there's definitely more painful places to go.
Oh, dude, for me, like I had my chest done. With me, like I'm bony up here, dude, and it was right on my collarbone. I was sitting there, and I felt my skeleton vibrate for hours.
Yeah, my chest was the worst one.
Yeah, I'd say definitely. But so let's get into Happy Dad a little bit, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to know how you got involved. Obviously, Happy Dad's a big brand. You know, Nelk Boys are involved. Dana White has them with the UFC and everything.
Yeah.
And I've seen you guys at UFC events, shaking hands and taking pictures with other UFC fighters. Yeah. Please let me know about all that.
Yeah, so this is kind of a wild story. Mark helps me rep Happy Dad, and when I need him to do something at a bar, he's first to step up, but I am the Happy Dad guy here in North Florida. And I was presented with an opportunity. I'm just nothing but lucky, to be honest. Years ago, the UFC came to Jacksonville during COVID. It was the only venue ViStar was the only venue allowing people in the stands. So UFC came to town. It was Masvidal versus Usman. And the night before, the UFC wanted to have a party at the bar we worked at. So Mark and I were lucky enough to run security for Dana and his team. And Nelk ended up coming in, and I was willing to take a chance and struck up a conversation with the guys at the end of the night, was able to exchange phone numbers with them, stayed in touch with them over the years. I make sure to text Dana before every fight, wishing him good luck, and
that's crazy.
Holidays and stuff like that. Yeah. So, we've been lucky to go to different parts of the state and even different parts of the country for different fights, and always, again, stayed in touch with Dana. Well, last time the UFC came to Jacksonville was June of last year. It was actually almost a morning fight. We got there probably 11 a.m. And the day after that fight,
drunk,
UFC Hall of Famer Clay Guida walked into the bar. We weren't even working there anymore, but asked the bartender what there was to do around Jacksonville, and he texted me and said, I actually have he told Clay, I have the perfect guy to show you around town on a Sunday night, so he'll be up here in 30 seconds. Give me a minute to call him. So I went down, ended up meeting Clay, showing him around town, drinking all night, hit a couple bars out there. And Clay texted me the next day. We exchanged numbers and said, man, I really love that bar. If you ever want to do a UFC watch party or something, let me know. I'd love to show face. So I texted Dana and got the ball rolling on that. And it's actually, hopefully that's a party that's coming sooner than later. We'll release that when we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. But
definitely let me know about that. I'll be more than happy.
So I texted Dana and said, hey, I had the pleasure of meeting Clay last night, and I want to do a watch party. Can you help us out with that? He said, yeah. Would you be open to calling or bringing in Happy Dad? I said, I mean, if you're asking, yeah, why not? So he texted me over the president of the company's number, and Mark was with me in the living room when I got that. I was like, dude, you're never going to fucking believe whose number I just got.
That's a big fucking phone number you just got right there.
Yeah. So it's like the guy that signed Steve and Kyle's paycheck is now my boss. And, so Mark's sitting next to me in my living room, and we call John Shahidi and start talking to him about the Jort Boys. And he mentions, how they're a little bit limited on staff in Florida. So someone will reach out to me when they can. And I was just bold enough to take advantage of what he said. And, if you're that limited, are you open to hiring someone else in the Jacksonville area? And he said, yeah, actually, we are trying to find someone. And one conversation led to a next. I just ran with it. So now I run all of North Florida as far as Happy Dad sales goes.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I'm nothing but lucky and blessed. And the Shahidis took a chance on me and my boss Joe, and they trust me. And we're doing a pretty good job. Obviously, we got the hats out here now, and it's really cool to see. I can't walk into a single bar in town and not see someone in a Happy Dad hat. And 90% of the time, I know that they got it at an event that I threw. So,
that's badass.
Yeah,
dude.
It's a very cool gig.
Happy Dad. If you ever need more, let me know.
Absolutely,
I'll change the whole studio to match those colors. Let me know what's going on.
Yeah, if y'all need it, Connor knows a guy.
I would say definitely. I'm more than happy to reach out. But no, that's awesome, man. Like that's a big thing because a lot of people like they see that big brand there,
right?
And they're like, I'll never get in touch with them.
Yeah,
like they seem untouchable because you see these YouTubers who have 30 million subscribers, or even like obviously a company like that. Yeah. A lot of people don't know where that point is to start, and it just takes an opportunity, obviously.
100%. It's a hard work definitely plays a factor in it. For anyone trying to make it in life, but luck plays a factor in it as well. There's no doubt about it. It's all about meeting the right person at the right time. And had the UFC not chose to rent a section out from our bar years ago, who knows where Mark and I would be today. So, you fast forward now, we're sitting ringside at some UFC events. And again, we're nothing but lucky. We're nothing but blessed. And we've met some incredible people in our Jort Bois journey.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Should we tell them about the Theo Von thing?
Yeah.
You did. I know, obviously, I'm a big comedy fan. I love Rogan. Obviously, I know who Theo Von is. Pretty much a mix of Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, all of them and everything. So feel free. I would love to hear.
We've met them all. I had the pleasure of meeting Tom Segura back in Texas. Super nice guy. We've met Sneeko. We've met Trump. And,
that's cool.
Mark and I were lucky to go.
Does Trump have little hands?
No,
I'm kidding.
He's got massive hands. That's a hell of a handshake.
I bet it is. So, he pulls you in.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, we went down to Miami for UFC 286. It was Pajeda versus Adesanya 2.
Oh, damn.
And
that was a good fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight. A hell of a knockout by Adesanya there. Mark and I got on an elevator and ended up going the wrong direction. We were supposed to go down to meet some of our guests, and we ended up going up. And it worked out for us because everybody cleared out of the elevator when they got to their section. And all of a sudden, 3 cameras came on, and we're like, who the fuck is about to walk into our elevator? And sure enough, it was Theo Von. So all eyes were on Theo. It was just Mark, myself, and Theo. We ended up taking the elevator all the way back down to the floor we were supposed to get off on. And he just hung around and started chit-chatting with us. So, Mark, I'll let you tell your part of the story here, but he was a cool guy.
Yeah. We're going to backtrack it a little bit. It's almost like we spoke it to existence. Like, the way down to Miami, the way we're driving, and for some reason, Theo comes in the conversation. We're like, is he the same person in real life, or is it just a skit?
That was going to be my next question, yeah.
And we're driving, and then before we get to the event and everything, so I woke up, opened an energy drink, drank half of it, and then poured tequila the rest in it. So that was a breakfast of champions.
Sounds like a solid start to the day.
Oh, yeah.
In my parents' house.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. It was great. And then we finally get there, and then, the whole elevator thing. And it's like we've met a lot of, celebrities and all that. But I think it's the first time Colin and I just both fanboyed. We were just like...
Oh, he's the man. And especially then, it was, almost 2 years ago now, over a year ago. He was at the top of his game. He still is, but that was right when he was really taking over everything.
He's been prolific for a while now.
Yeah.
First thing he says after we get a photo with him, he's just like, because we're dressed up, it's big pay-per-view UFC, so we're dressed all nice and all that. And he's like, y'all part of a church?
Yeah, he asked me if I was a youth pastor.
He was like, we were like, no. And he goes, gotcha. So y'all a couple youth pastors. We're like, no.
Talking some shit.
And then we're talking to him, and we're explaining how we kind of got the seats and all that. And I was telling him about first time I did security for Dana, and Dana slapped me on the chest and all that. He goes, oh, Dana slapped you? Here, do it to me.
Slap me the way Dana slapped you.
Yeah, and I looked at Colin, and Colin's just like, Mark, please don't fucking do it.
I was ready to kill him.
And again, my breakfast was tequila and an energy drink.
So you were more than happy to do it.
So I just slapped the shit out of Theo Von.
You said in the chest, right?
Yeah,
right
in the chest. Slapped the shit out of him. He goes, good hit. But then...
Well, you're not a small dude either, so I know that shit hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I was say 100%.
And then, afterwards, he was so cool. He just hung out with us for, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we just chit-chatted.
And then he ended up DMing me on Instagram later that night. I was like, what the hell?
He is the same person you see on camera, but it's a genuine, cool, nice guy.
Oh yeah, man. Like at the end of the day, these are just people.
They are.
They're the same. They just happen to have a couple more zeros in their bank account than we do at the current moment. And I mean, Theo Von, like not hating on Theo Von, his comedy isn't my personal style. No. But I've seen some clips that have made me crack up that he said I agree 100%. Yeah. I think he's a funny dude. Like Tom Segura is more my speed. I love dark humor and like that shit that comes out of nowhere that you weren't expecting. I love that whole style of things. Who is someone, I guess Theo Von is one of the biggest ones, right? Who would you say is like the favorite celebrity that you guys have gotten to meet with doing this?
I mean, we've met quite a bit of Jags players.
Dana White's a big one.
Yeah, Dana's probably, I mean, for me personally, Dana would be my number one. He changed my life without even knowing it. He didn't have to exchange numbers with me that day. And, without even really trying, he changed my life. So I wouldn't be with Happy Dad. I wouldn't, we wouldn't have as many memories sitting ringside. Dana White's my number one guy.
Hell yeah. What about you, Mark?
I'll say this just to say more about Dana. What was cool about Dana, it was like, so I did security twice for him. Mm-hmm. And the second time I did, I grew out my hair a little bit, got a few more tattoos. Like I looked different. So I had no idea he was going to remember me and all that. First thing he says is, hey man, how have you been? How's your family? All like this dude sees probably thousands and thousands of people a month, and he still remembered, my face and all that. So Dana's a very humble guy. He's a great guy. I think my favorite, maybe because of the story, and his name's Justin Waller. He's a big influencer. He's like...
It sounds familiar.
He's the red pill kind of influencer. Okay. He's like best friends with Andrew Tate and all that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people aren't going to like that, but...
You're good, man. Like, on me, I don't really care. It just depends on the situation for me, so you can talk freely on all that shit.
Yeah, so I met... It was actually at a UFC fight. I'm in the back room, and I'm just eating food, and I look up, and I see him. I'm like, "You're," and he goes, "Yeah." And we just start talking, and it was like, I don't even know what I was even saying, but he just like liked me a lot, like put his arm around me, like just bullshitting, like we've been bros forever. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll follow you on Instagram." And I took that as like, okay, he's never going to talk to me again, blah, blah, blah. But then I sit down in my seat, and I didn't even know until Colin pointed out. I was sitting next to Lenny Curry, the mayor of Jacksonville at the time.
What the fuck?
And I'm just sitting next
cool guy. I bet he is.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm just sitting next to Lenny, and I look back at Justin, and I go, I got an idea. So I turn around to Justin, because he was right behind me. I go, "Hey, you want to meet the mayor of Jacksonville by any chance?"
Good, you're fine.
You want to meet the mayor of Jacksonville by any chance? He goes, "Absolutely." So I told him, "Hey, Lenny, meet my friend Justin." And they're talking for a while. He sits down, and this is one of the coolest moments of my life. He looks at me, gives a little wink, and immediately follows me on Instagram. Because he knew exactly what I was doing.
That's cool.
Putting two people together. And when it comes to Jort Bois and all that, that's kind of always been like my thing is you get enough tequila in me, I'll talk to anyone. I don't care who it is. Mm-hmm. And I end up just meeting a lot of these like big time famous people. And a lot of times the reason why we have all these opportunities is they'll like us and they'll be like, "Oh, you want to do business?" I'm like, 1 second. Colin,
and then he tags me in.
Yeah, because he does the logistics, business, all that. I'm just the friendly face, the people pleaser.
The drinking buddy.
Yeah, I'm the drinking buddy.
Hey, he does it good, though. I got to give him credit.
There's nothing wrong with it, man. Like, you can ask Shannon anytime we go to any kind of events or networking. Yeah. I'll be beside her for like 30 seconds, and like we'll be talking to the same person, and then I'm out. I'm really much an extrovert. I go around and talk to everybody. Like, I walked up to you. I was like, "Hey, man." I was aware of you because I saw you on Instagram.
Right.
So I immediately wanted to come up and talk to you for a second. And then I've been aware of you as well, and all the Jort Boys. I've been like paying attention to you guys. I tried reaching out. We were talking about your publicist from a little while back and everything. I'd say that whole situation, but try to get in touch with you guys. It's just, everybody gets busy. I know you guys are always trying to do an event and everything. But
probably why we never hang out, because we're too much of extroverts. We probably always just pass each other in the bar.
Oh yeah, man. Like for me, like I don't go to the beach bars all the time. Like obviously I'm married, you know what I mean? I'm not like surfing for anything. I'll go out and drink and have a good time, or like anytime the boys are going out, I'll try to go out there and run around every so often. My boy Cam is a freaking hound down there. He's always down there doing something.
Yeah, Cam puts in that work.
Hey man, good for him. Like I said, For me, I get hungover. I feel like death some days, man. That man can just keep on going.
Our number one goal and motto of the Jort Bois was to get paid to drink. So I think we've done a pretty good job at doing that thus far.
It sounds solid.
Yeah.
So what is y'all's, I don't know, like end of day goal, or what's like our couple goals that you guys have going on?
Yeah,
for the Jort Bois?
Honestly, we're kind of open to where the journey takes us. We've had different ideas and end goals in the past, and some things get better traction than others. But really, man, right now, we've tried to throw events on the other side of the bridge that haven't worked out so well, and then we've dialed it back. And right now, I mean, we're just in love with the city of Jacksonville Beach, and love the bar owners and the entrepreneurs and the people we've met out there, and they have a special place in their hearts for us. We've had a lot of success, and we just want to keep going there. We want to be known as the people who threw the best parties in that bar district of all time. So it might not be the biggest town. Hopefully one day we make it bigger, and who knows, you see us on Netflix or something one day, but
that'd be badass to see. I'm like, I know them.
But right now we're committed to throwing parties in Jacksonville Beach, and who knows how long it carries on for. We're just enjoying the ride for the time being.
Hell yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, honestly, for me, it's just the memories, dude. Like, for what we've done, I mean, the experience alone has just all been worth it. And for me, continuing on, who knows? Because a lot of us, we have our own separate lives as well. It's not like because this all started pretty much as a joke.
Yeah.
It was literally a joke. It took off, and we just been rolling with it. Whatever happens, happens, but it's more of just, we're here for the good times while they last.
Not a long time.
That's my motto too, man. I would say that's how we started, man. We started doing this just from sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
Like, I would get home from work every day, and I would just sit there and just death scroll on my phone for 4 hours. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Right.
I need to do something, or at least try to work with my community. I've always been very community minded. Worked at like NA centers, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and all that shit. But I still like to have a good time and meet good, like, fun people like you guys. Obviously you guys are business oriented, but as well, 100%. You guys like to have a good time, man.
We do.
And to be honest, it's kind of just turned into its own thing. Like, for a while there, I was like having a hard time finding guests, and nowadays, dude, we're booked out for a whole month.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Appreciate you.
You went from Alcohol Anonymous to the most well-known alcoholics in Jack's Beach. That's pretty impressive.
Well, for me, man, I grew up very lucky. Like I didn't grow up poor. You know what I mean? I was always fed. I was always clothed.
Yep.
The main important things were always taking care of me. So with what I do for a job, I do pest control, and I go around and I go to some of the worst parts of downtown Jacksonville, some of the worst parts of Jacksonville where there's kids running around with a 10-pound diaper on, mom's doing drugs in the bed and all this other stuff. And for me, it's just more of trying to not put that kind of stuff out there, because that's not what Jacksonville is.
Right.
Jacksonville is a good spot. Business owners, what you guys are doing, you can come here, have a good time. You can always do business. You can raise a family here. It's just kind of putting out what Jacksonville really is.
Yeah, it definitely is, man.
And we've been very lucky to sit down with, you guys are going to be episode 115, and we've sat down with over 100 businesses, man.
Congratulations.
Oh, no,
That's
appreciate
awesome.
you.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Yeah, for us, we don't charge anybody a single dime. Everything it's always free to come on here, and anytime you guys do come on the podcast, it's an automatic ticket where you guys always have an open door policy with us as well.
Love it, man.
So
Great.
if you guys are ever trying to promote something or anything like that, hit me up. I'm more than happy to come in and talk. And even this is mobile. I can come to the bar and sit down and have a conversation with you guys.
We'll do it. We've talked about doing that in the past,
cool,
and we could tell stories for days, whether it's Jort Bois, security, Happy Dad, UFC, you name it. So we'd love to come back on in the future, but however you do business and scheduling, we could always talk.
Well, the thing is, anytime someone messages the podcast page, it's me. I do all our scheduling. Shannon helps out behind the scenes with doing pictures and getting videos and everything. But no, that's why I try to tell everybody, I'm like, there's no publicist you have to go through. You're talking to the guy who's talking to you on the podcast.
Right.
That's the main thing. What would you guys say is one of the crazier stories? Obviously, being a bouncer and everything, you guys, I'm sure, have seen crazy things.
We've had it all.
I'm sure you have.
We've had it all.
What would you say is a story from each of you guys that sticks out in your mind to this day?
So Mark and I really grew as the Jort Bois, as me being the manager of the guys who were bouncing. Mark and I live by a security motto where he's my dog, and I let him off his leash every once in a while. So I like to sit back in a chair and watch my guys handle business if it has to. So I'll let Mark take more of these stories because he's been more hands-on and more involved. I'm kind of just the sit in the background and snap my fingers kind of guy.
Mark, you're a big fucking dude, bro. If you walked up to me, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, it's getting serious now.
I appreciate it. You want crazy stories from bouncing, Jort Bois, or both?
Why don't you handle the bouncing and I'll tell some of the Jort Bois stories?
You guys are more welcome to tell whatever story, whether it's bouncing, Jort Bois.
We could start with bouncing. Bouncing's kind of... I guess it's weird for me. I don't think anything's like too crazy because I used to be like a correctional officer. So it's like I used to deal with inmates and all that. So
I got questions for you on that one later.
Oh, I got you. But it's like, that's why I always think bouncing's funny because it's like you get these frat dudes, daddy's money, whatever, like drunk, like talking shit, trying to get in my face. It's like I used to slap killers for a living. Like people like are like bodies, respect. Like,
well, I'll alley-oop you a good story. Speaking of you getting slapped,
which time?
There was a couple in Surfer once that you caught a bloody lip from. That's a good story for you to tell. That
was so annoying. It's like, it was a Sunday.
Well, she got arrested, so that was cool. She ended up getting let go, but, whatever.
It was a Sunday, and we closed the upstairs. I'm, like, banging on the door, and I'm just like, hey, upstairs is closed. I need you to hurry up in the bathroom. It's the male bathroom. And I hear a female voice, like, 1 second. I'm, like, walking away. I go,
Wait a second.
Mm-hmm. And I immediately just kicked the door open. Like, it just kicked it open. Dude zipping up his pants.
Oh, yeah.
I grabbed the dude and kick him out. Like, was going to get the female later. End up kicking out the female. And then my buddy says something to her. She thought it was me. And maybe because she was like 4'11", had a fat-ass ring, just shot up and hit me in the mouth. It just cut my gum. And I was gushing blood.
Yeah.
I'm like, this... But that was an annoying story.
That would piss me off too, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for not like hitting women and all that shit at all.
I still couldn't hit a woman.
No, 100%. That shit would.
Damn it! There's times you're tempted.
Oh, there's times where you really have to sit back and like, I'm gonna fuck someone up sooner or later.
No, like it was just annoying. But I mean, I've been hit a lot of times. That's nothing new.
You don't have to say names, by the way. Has there ever been anybody who is notable in Jacksonville that you've had to kind of remove from a bar or anything like that? Like I said,
fuck Josiah Scott.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah, hey, if any NFL teams listening right now,
and you're looking for a shitty cornerback
who hits women,
don't call Josiah Scott. Fuck that guy.
Or call him if you want a guy who hits women.
And then cut him again.
That's gonna be an amazing clip.
Dude,
I can't wait to put that out.
Josiah Scott.
Fuck Josiah Scott. That dude got his ass beat with every single probably fighting style ever. One dude hit him, one dude body slammed him.
And if you see this clip and have anything to say otherwise, we have it on camera. So fuck you, buddy.
And quit lying about your fucking like you're not 5'9", you're probably like 5'7". You're probably
fucking
50.
chump.
You're short too. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah, like dude, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
I'm glad the Jacks
Other than him, we got that out of the way.
That was great. That was fucking funny.
Yeah. Most of the big names that come to Jacksonville, like when they come into one of our bars, they tend to behave themselves most of the time.
The public eye is on them most of the time.
100%. Yeah. They just want to get a VIP section. Sometimes they just want to be left alone.
Urban Meyer, you suck too, by the way.
Yeah, he was a dick.
Fuck Urban Meyer. I'm a Gators fan too.
We
but
are
fuck you,
Penn
Urban.
State.
Yeah.
Hey, I do like Penn State because of Paul Blesny.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Tank.
No, they always behave. A lot of times they want to be left alone. They're quiet guys. They used to come up. I was always like the face of the bar, with the first person they saw. So if someone was coming up and so-and-so is in the car, we actually happen to be good friends. Our buddy Knox was his cousins with Kane Brown. He came, and that's how we met him.
That's like, cool.
Yeah. He came up and was like, hey, we have Kane. He just finished a concert. He's in the car right now. He wants to come in. Can we do something for him? I'm like, fuck yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Kane came in, took a picture with us. We showed us some love, and then we went upstairs, made sure we set up a VIP section, and
I want to add to that. Then
go ahead.
It's more of like that's how we also transitioned to Jort Bois because we've done on the other side, not being security, but actual VIPs for like Jorge Masvidal and the Pouncey twins and all that. So from what we started as just being bouncers, setting up VIPs for celebrities, we ended up now doing as party promoters.
Hanging with them.
But the cool part is now we got to hang out with them.
You can have the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So most of the time the celebrities that come in, they want to be left alone. They're, like you said, they're not here to draw a public eye on them. We had Tyler Cameron from The Bachelor, used to be a regular at the bar. 24 Karat Golden came in with him once. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence used to come in all the time. Evan Ingram, we welcomed him into town when he signed with the Jags. He was super nice. Obviously, Nelk, Dana, a long list of guys. We were lucky enough to work at the bar that when you Google nice bars in Jacksonville, it was the first one to come up. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, if you're looking for a VIP section in town, they were coming to our bar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'll say there's some cool guys out there, and like I became more aware of Nelk and all of them. Like I guess a little bit before or after COVID. I'm trying to think of when they really started to make their rise, because Steve will do it, was making his like, he would freaking put a straw in a handle and just take it down.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not just for the camera. He will do it regardless.
Oh, I've seen him continue to do it, and his whole situation was crazy with YouTube and getting kicked off because he was on like a gambling website and had a couple other strikes and everything. It's kind of wild how that whole situation went.
Yeah.
But no, like, I think it's crazy to see how these guys can just, get so popular. It's crazy to see like over 1 million people love what the fuck you do.
We've spent a while trying to figure out the formula on how to get there, versus what they do. Right.
Yeah.
We, our biggest claim to fame really is when one of our Jort Boys streaked the field at the Jags game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
He streaked the field against it was the Jags versus Raiders 2 seasons ago, and made it from one end zone all the way down to the 15.
83 yards.
Yeah, before he got thrown in cuffs.
Did he put a bet on him? I'll bet that
he did not. He did not.
Bro.
He rocked the jorts. He covered himself up in Vaseline. Like, this was well thought out. And he got away from a couple of security guards before ended up getting taken down. Man, ESPN, Bleacher Report, Barstool, a couple other massive social media platforms picked this up and were posting the clip of our guy Rocket running the field, and we gained like 600 followers off of that day, which to us was insane. But then like the traction just kind of stopped. We're like, damn, if that didn't get us into the millions, like, we don't know what else we're supposed to do unless we just keep doing it at different stadiums. But he's now trespassed, and he's paid his fines and gone to his court cases and all that. So that's in the past.
We're about to get a letter from Roger Goodell now.
100%.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
No, I understand, man, like the traction and everything. Like, we were talking before the podcast started, you're like, are you like newer to Instagram and stuff? I'm like, nah, man, it comes in spurts. Like little pieces, and I'll get like 40 followers here, and then it won't do anything for a little bit, and then it just depends on who I'm talking to a lot of times.
We do the same thing, man. We'll gain 30 followers a day, and then before you know it, like, our follower count has dropped the next day. And it's like, what the hell did we do wrong, man? Like, who did we piss off this time? And then, another 30 come in, and then 15 go. It's just all over the place.
The way I look at it, man, is like, I post what I want to post.
Right.
I'm not trying just to put out it's not clickbait. It's not to just go for everybody else, because like at the end of the day, it's like what I'm putting out is what I'm happy with. And that's really the main thing. Like
100%.
A lot of people get so wrapped up in social media nowadays. Like their Instagram post got 2 likes. There's some people who are going to kill themselves over that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's not that serious to me, man. It really isn't. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, we're like 4 morons who like barely know how to run an Instagram account. So, I mean, if people are waiting on us to drop a TikTok or a reel or something, like, we don't know what we're doing.
Nah, I think that shit's stupid.
We just document our life off 2 shitty iPhones, and we've gained enough traction off of it, so we're having a fun time doing it. And,
I mean, that's what I do, man. Like when I do for a job a day, like I was telling you, I do pest control. Like, I'm sitting there editing videos and posting that shit in between jobs, doing all that kind of stuff, and just you just make it work. That's just really all you can do.
Just do what we can.
Think a big thing too, it's like, even like whatever you see on Instagram and social media about follower wise, how many people come up to me saying they have at least heard of us and all that, just word of mouth and all that. Like, I think it's a very subjective number. Mm-hmm. I think a lot more people know us and maybe just not follow us and all that.
That's really the main thing.
As much as we're loved, sometimes we can piss some people off.
Well, it's everybody.
Definitely.
It's everybody, man. Like, I'm sure there's some shit on here I say or I repeat a story for like the 10th time, and people are like, "Oh my god,
we've heard it before."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I don't care. It's just at the end of the day, like, I put out what I want to put out. I talk to who I want to talk to, kind of thing. If I'm not interested in what you guys are doing, I'm not gonna have you on here.
Yeah.
Or there's like, I can't tell you how many times I get hit up by these dudes who are like making music and all they're doing is just showing like selling pounds and all that shit on there. I'm like, guys, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you about you're doing crazy illegal shit. Like, what are we gonna have a conversation about and everything? But it's just one of those things. The whole social media game is just one of those things where it'll come and go. You guys will grow some, you'll lose some. It just is what it is.
That's how it goes, man. So, but the people that we've cared about making an impression on, we have.
That's the main thing. I was saying, all the names you guys have already dropped. Those are crazy names.
Yeah, we've been lucky for sure.
I jumped in the UFC media booth with Dominic Cruz.
What?
Yeah, he's been in the booth.
I was going to say, if you want some crazy Jort Boy stories, we got some of that.
Go right ahead.
Speaking of UFC media, you want to talk about one of the coolest guys we've ever met? It's John Anik.
Oh, really?
Commentator for the UFC. Coolest, down-to-earth motherfucker we've ever met.
He has one of the best. He has one of the best voices.
He does.
It's so, I don't know, it's a soothing voice. As like whenever he talks, it sounds so smooth. I don't know why. I
actually met his family.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. His kids are cool. His wife is awesome. John Anik. If somehow you ever see this clip, you got 2 fans out of us, brother.
John Anik, if you want to come sit down, I'm more than happy to talk to you. Have you guys had a chance to meet Rogan?
Yes, I have.
What?
Yeah. He was cool. Quiet guy, you know.
I'm sure he gets fucking screamed at all day long.
I'm sure he gets bombarded by thousands of people, but
maybe on shrooms.
He was nice enough. You know, I did approach him, and his security guard actually stopped the interaction before it started, and Joe actually pushed him out of the way and was willing to take a picture with me and my friends. Yeah, he was a super nice guy, and reintroduced myself later on in the day at the fight, and super nice guy for the short interaction I had with him.
I enjoyed that because, like, for me, I'm sure everybody does this, but like, for me, I've always enjoyed his podcast. Millions of people do.
100%.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed his curiosity and having all the different kinds of guests that he has on.
He's so open-minded.
Exactly, and that's kind of how I've angled mine. Like, I have people on here who, like, whether they think differently than me, we can sit here and have a good debate where it stays calm. I'm not sitting here saying, fuck you, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's the kind of conversation I like having, is sitting down with people who may have a different point of view than I do, but we can talk it through, have a civil conversation, and even if we don't agree at the end of the podcast, at least people can kind of hear both sides.
Yep.
And with him, he has everybody on there, from scientists to neurologists to politicians. Like, he just had Tulsi Gabbard on there the other day. I was like, that's fucking nuts.
Exactly.
No, it's definitely cool. But you said you had a couple of cool Jort Bois stories. I'm more than happy to listen to anything you got.
Let's see. I jumped in the media booth at UFC to get a picture of Dominic Cruz,
which is badass. That's fucking cool.
Hugged Clay Guida post-fight.
That was the first time I met Clay Guida, was when we were at UFC Orlando, and he just jumped the cage and gave me a hug. I was like, oh man, it's the only time I'm ever gonna be happy hugging a sweaty man. And then what's another good one? We were drunk for Game Bread FC when they were here. That's when we did the VIP with Jorge Masvidal and all that.
That's really cool.
I got drunk and I was in their media booth too, with the official fight card list, just with my tequila pineapple. Like, everyone was just like, eh.
Jorge and company are a really good group of guys.
He seems like an interesting guy.
Very, very quiet guy.
He is.
He came from the fucking mud, though.
Yeah, he did.
He came from the dirt floor and, like, made his way to where he is today. It's a very inspirational story.
Him and his team have been awesome, and, you know, Happy Dad's been cool enough to get a sponsorship with Game Bread now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I was lucky enough to go down to my second Game Bread fight in Orlando a couple of months ago, and they've always, you know, we fire off a text. They all followed us on Instagram. They'll repost shit that we tag them in, and I'll fire off a text. They text back right away, and they've been super cool and gracious to us.
That's freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like I say, we were talking before the podcast started. I told you guys about Ramon Tabarez. Shout out Ramon. He's the episode that came out this week. He told me his story, man, and like, just to hear these UFC fighters talk, man. And I've been telling everybody all week, a UFC fighter's intensity. Yeah. When you're talking to him, it's different. Like, I was sitting here talking to him, and like, I could just seeing him, like, he's just a guy who's fiery, you know?
Exactly.
And he was talking about, like, you know, getting in trouble when he was younger, and then finding fighting, and like, that helped him put his energy towards something a little more positive rather than getting in trouble and everything. And it was interesting to hear his whole story. And I was talking about weight cutting, dude. That sounds like pure hell.
Oh, you could miss me with that bullshit, bro.
Same.
Thank you. Yeah.
Same. Like, I walk around like 200 pounds. This man said he walks around like 150 something, and he goes down to 130 something.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that, dude. That's 20 pounds you have to lose in 8 weeks.
Patty the Batty walks at like 205 and fights at 155. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. I just couldn't imagine. Like, I love to eat. That's
Couldn't be me.
That's one of my big things. I love to eat food. I like anything like fast food, all that type of shit. I love all that. I could get disciplined enough, but also I don't have $100 or $1 million paycheck waiting for me on the other end for me to be as motivated as they are.
100%.
I would love it. I think it'd be cool. I remember first night we ever did security for Dana, I body slammed a dude in front of Dana's family. And I think that was like one of the like peaks of my life when you hear the president of the UFC like going, hell yeah.
Was he the dude causing an issue? Is that what this was?
He ran into the VIP when he wasn't supposed to. So I kind of like chased him and like body slammed him to the ground. Didn't get a contract, but I mean, I got plenty of UFC fights to watch, so I guess good trade-off.
When it comes to being like a bodyguard for Dana White, how does that like?
You feel pretty fucking useless.
I was gonna say, like, what do you go through for that?
Protecting the baddest man on planet Earth is you just, all right, I'm gonna keep doing my job. But he obviously that night we first met him rolled in with his own bodyguard. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to know the moves that he knows, so I'm definitely not pissing that guy off. But pretty much it wasn't Dana that we had to worry about. It was all the fans and the people that were in the bar who were trying to get close to him. So it was let Dana do his own thing, let Nelk do their own thing. They can get away with murder that night if they want to. Make sure they're having a fun time, because if they are, they're taking care of the bar staff, and and it's a night of memories full of us. It's make sure the same people that we got to kick out every fucking weekend, make sure they're not acting a fool. So, and that's exactly what we had to do. Is don't worry about Dana. We hardly talked to him throughout the night. It wasn't until the end of the night that we made conversation with him. Yeah. But it's get the people who are bothering him, the people who are trying to get close, sneak into his VIP section, get them out of there. And that's when our jobs came into play.
I was more like saying like the process of becoming his bodyguard. Like obviously, through you guys like know each other and all that stuff. Yeah. How did that go? Do you have to go past anything to really, or is it just more like, hey, I know you guys do this. You can come do this for me.
We were just
working that night.
Yeah, we just happened to be nightclub bouncers. Yeah, nightclub bouncers and threw a party for him.
Yeah, and I was just assigned. First time I was just assigned to be with Dana's group. Second time, he was actually out of town for Tortuga, and I was the assistant manager at the time, so I played manager, and I was just
played manager,
and I was just Dana came in unexpectedly, and I was just his security the whole time. Pretty much, I just worked with his security staff.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how that kind of worked.
We were pretty much told like if his security guard steps in at any point, to back off.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. And luckily it didn't come to that. We were able to handle our job for the most part. But
there's a good video that was on Steve Will Do It's Instagram. Like his Instagram story, me throwing a dude over the rail who stuck it. Yeah. And Bradley Martin's like, holy shit. And I go, hey, you got the next one, buddy.
I say Bradley Martin's a big motherfucker too, man. I wouldn't want to hear that shit.
Why am I doing all the work?
Yeah.
You're 260, bro. Come on, man.
Feel free to chime in at any given moment.
No, that's crazy, man. Those are some big names you guys have been around.
We've been nothing but lucky and blessed, man.
And it's crazy to think about. Like a lot of people, here Jacksonville, they don't think of what
those people coming to town,
what you guys are talking about, and it's cool to see the growth and everybody doing their thing.
And funny enough, it's a lot easier to get in touch with them here in Jacksonville than it would be a big city like New York or LA. Not a lot of people from Jacksonville are reaching out to them trying to throw a party. So, we've taken advantage of that and got in touch with the right people. And, again, just
a lot of it's taking advantage. Asking, like the whole Game Bread thing, it was literally just Colin, just emailing people.
Oh, yeah, man.
And it was just that little bit of initiative just went a long way. Yeah. Like, I always give Colin his flowers on this story about, like, getting Dana's number. Like, look, I was with Dana all fucking night. And I didn't have the balls to fucking ask him for his number. And then, sure as shit, Colin just strolls around. He's like, hey, Dana. And so I always give Colin his flowers for that one. But that's a lot of it has just been lucky and asking.
Dude, that's what I say to people all the time. Because people ask me about certain guests I've gone on. I'm like, dude, I just hit them either email them or I hit them up on social media. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the worst thing they can say is no. And it doesn't kill me.
It's what it is.
It just is what it is. Yeah, like anytime there's an artist that comes through Jacksonville, whether it's like a comedian or a musician or anything like that, I always hit them up. I just see, or I look for their publicist and send an email, and if they respond, great. If they don't, it is what it is, and maybe they'll remember me next time, kind of thing. Yeah. Say we sat down. Me and Shannon are a part of a group called the Southside Businessmen's Club here in Jax, and basically they're a philanthropic as well as a business group as well. Yeah. And I got to meet the new CEO of JEA. Sat down with the new CEO of JEA. Got to go in there and talk with him for a while, and he's a multi-millionaire and has worked in like electronics for a while. The Neil Sterling guy, the old tight end for the Jaguars. Yeah. I saw he was opening up a gym. I was like, hey man, you interested? Him and his wife came and sat down.
Why not?
And then Roman Tavares hit him up. And he was more than happy.
How'd that interview go with Roman?
Roman went great, man. To be honest with you, like he's a very intense guy. He's been through a lot of shit in his life. So getting to sit down and talk with him is very interesting because I'm a novice. Like I pay attention to the UFC, but the actual intricacies of it, like training, weight cutting, as we were just talking about a second ago, how he got onto the Contender Series. And actually his story was interesting because he had an early stoppage in one of the fights, and basically if that happens, you're cut, and then the next one up. Dana White, funny enough, came up to him and was like, hey, that fucking ref doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Come back. I'm gonna have you come back here on like week 10 or something, or come back on the next season. And then he ended up winning that season and went into the UFC on a 4-fight contract.
Wow, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, man. So he talked.
If you got his contact, man, like obviously with our UFC presence, we're talking about doing meet and greets in the future, so we'd love to collab with you on that. We'd love to talk. So, as far as if you're listening, man, we'll be in talks with you soon.
Yeah, man. I'll give you I'll give you his information after the podcast and everything. Super cool dude. Very intense. I enjoyed him personally.
Yeah.
And it was just, like I said, it was interesting because I got to sit down with a pro athlete and learn something about their sport that I know nothing about.
Right.
You know, and say with, like I said, with his intensity, dude, he was sitting there, he cracked a couple smiles and it was a good conversation, but you could just tell he's a serious fucking dude.
Oh yeah. That's pretty much most of them that we've met. That's the way they are.
Yeah, but he was showing me pictures with him and like Sean O'Malley, Justin Gaethje, and a bunch of
Those
the
are
other
my two boys right there.
Oh, yeah?
Our Happy Dad sponsored fighters.
That's true. I forgot. I would say they are.
Sean and Justin, cool guys.
That's fucking cool, man. It's like the Happy Dad brand is crazy to see, like that, and a couple other. There's other brands out there, but it's crazy to see something that started a couple. How long has Happy Dad been around? Do you know?
2021.
Damn, that's not as long as it's been around.
Taking over. Just last week, just ranked as the number 4 seltzer sold in the United States.
Hey.
Over 3 years.
Hey, that's fucking badass, man. So whenever, for what you do for Happy Dad,
yep.
Walking into, how does this all go? Like, so you're selling the product, correct?
Yeah, so pretty much every can of Happy Dad that's sold in North Florida has to do with me. Now, my job is easy at times and harder at times. There's different ways to go about it where chain stores such as Walmart, Publix, they have systems that automatic reorder when product's low, and I go in. I have distribution reps that go in the market every day and handle remodel, not reordering and getting displays up. And sometimes I'm just a helping hand. Sometimes I'm told to stay out of their way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, cans that are pretty much any can that's sold from here to Tallahassee and down into Gainesville and Ocala, some way or another goes through my inbox.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
And like I've been a salesman for other jobs, and I respect that grind because that is a fucking grind. What you're doing, man. Because if you get 20 no's in a day, you're like, shit. All right, and
it goes.
And then the next day, it's a good day.
20 yeses.
Exactly. That's the way I look at it as well. It's like with what I do for my job, like I go out and make sales and do all that stuff as well. And to be honest, like there's some people who are made for it, and there's other people who get discouraged and like, fuck, man, one person said no to me today. I'm done. So
that's how sometimes you just have to take those days where either your first client of the day is a no and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to try again tomorrow. And then you circle back tomorrow and you get 10 yeses in a row and you're like, all right, I'm back, baby.
Hell yeah.
Luckily, in retail, you have to plan things so far in advance that right now we're heading towards Memorial Day and Father's Day. So Happy Dad for Father's Day I'm starting to get a lot of good conversations because obviously stores want to have a Happy Dad for Father's Day. So
of course.
Hopefully we start to see a couple displays around town.
If you're allowed to answer this question, who would you say is the biggest client that you have gotten yourself? If you're allowed, I don't want to get you in trouble.
So Publix probably. Well, I mean, not like the entire company because they were already in Publix before I started. But I've had some pretty good success in the Publixes around town. I'll leave out the stores that have. Although my focus needs to be in what we call the off-premise world, which is retail. Okay. I have more fun in the on-premise world, which is restaurants, clubs, and bars. And those I could definitely talk about. The Rec, I happen to work there on the weekends. They were the first bar to bring us in, and we've been doing pretty well in there. Their sister bar Tavern right in front, now does pretty well in sales over there. Monkey's Uncle is probably the biggest sports bar in Jack's Beach. They do pretty well with Happy Dad. Twin Peaks carries us now, so all been great clients to us, and they've all done stuff for the Jort Bois as well. So it's nice being able to work hand in hand, having a party promo business and a product that everybody wants to drink really makes my job easy because it's like, hey, not only will I sell you product, I can also bring in dozens of people to drink it, and we'll just kind of combine the two companies that I work with together.
Well, I like your branding that you do as well. Like, for example, how we met at the Rec and everything from the cornhole night. Like, you told me about it. You're like, if you go buy one, you get a hat.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, that's solid branding. Like, right when you said that, that made like the whole table I was sitting at. We all went and got a drink and everything.
So the hats come and go, and people always love a free hat, especially Happy Dad. So
it's a big brand, dude. Like the Happy Dad hats, I love. It's a simple colorway, and it goes with everything. Like I got one on now, and like I said, appreciate you by the way.
Yeah, of course, brother.
Yeah, man. It's just I love the branding and I love the everything behind it because it's meant to be a good time. Yeah, it's not all serious. Like how Budweiser can be a little bit more serious. They have the Clydesdales come on the screen. They want you to get the one tear coming out of your eye from watching one of their commercials. Happy Dad's like just have a fucking good time. and just do your thing.
But like got the trannies, like it's
right.
Yeah, that's a whole
it's all different marketing, I guess.
Hey man, Bud Light took a hit on that one, man. I would say that was, and I think they learned pretty quick. And at the end of the day, like I don't care how you are, you live your life. It doesn't bother me. But that branding definitely, what they lose, like
know who you're marketing to.
What they lose, like $3 billion, if not more.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, they lost a shit ton of money. And like nowadays, I don't ever go into a bar now where I see a lot of people, or even if one drinking a Bud Light.
Yeah,
to this day.
I think the problem was the timing, because that was right after like the Nashville shooting, you know, like with the
I didn't think about that.
Like I don't even think it, because I don't drink beer or Bud Light anyway. I just drink tequila, so it didn't really bother me. It's just the timing. It was like I don't give a fuck who's on the can. Like like no one like. It was just like the timing. I was just like, dude, why would you do that now?
Yeah, and the person Dylan Mulvaney has been a person of controversy for a very long time. It was a whole thing, and obviously Bud Light has ties with, I believe, the NFL and multiple other companies. And I believe
actually just signed on with the UFC.
I was at UFC as well and everything, but they've changed their tune a little bit. And Dana White saw that as an opportunity and went in there and took that.
I mean, Bud Light definitely is doing the right thing now. You know, you got guys like Dana, like Shane Gillis, like Theo Vaughn, all representing Bud Light and trying to get all the good they've done for the country and all the good they've done for their employees back in the spotlight, instead of, it was a little fuck up. You hired the wrong person to do your marketing for you. And it is what it is. You learn from your mistakes, and I think they're doing a good job at recovering now. So.
It happens, man. You know what I mean? Especially in today's world, there's people get pissed off of the most minuscule everything nowadays.
Never gonna please an entire community.
Exactly. It's just, I think their promo was more the frat boys, and everybody wanted just a cheap beer that you can get. And for me personally, I don't hate Bud Light. It's not the beer I go for personally. It just depends.
Well, like that era when like the whole Dilly Dilly era.
Yes.
That was an ultimate peak. Like,
that was.
Were you not drinking Bud Light just so you could say Dilly Dilly when you cheers your boys? Like
that's funny. Funny as fuck you brought that up. I didn't even think about that. The Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly was an elite time.
Yeah. So I had a cool Jaguars story to tell you guys.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
So I actually got to play Madden on the Jumbotron at the Jag Stadium.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, my dad, he, like a little bit later into my life, I was a teenager. He got a job with Microsoft, and he was head of sales for the East Coast of the United States. So everything from New York down to Puerto Rico was his.
Wow.
And he'd go do all that, and that's where salesmanship. We were talking about that. I was big into that. He doesn't do it anymore. He works for another company. They do like cloud services. But got to do that. I was sitting there. I was like 15 years old, sitting next to, I don't know if it's a Jags player or like a manager of some sort, sitting there playing Madden in the Bud Zone, and then looking across and playing Madden on there.
That's wild.
That was some of the coolest shit ever. He got to go do when the Rams and the Patriots were playing against each other in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
He got to go to an event in I believe it was in Atlanta that year, if I remember correctly. He met Rob Gronkowski, Todd Gurley, and everybody, and got to go do the thing. I do like Rob Gronkowski. I'll give him that.
Man.
I say Brady. I was like, I like the roast that happened the other day.
That roast was electric.
It was good. And
it was a good roast.
It was nice to see Brady come into look like more of a human being. And because obviously in the public light, he's very calculated with everything.
Especially when he was with New England. Like they keep a lot of that stuff under wraps, and you're so serious in dictatorship. But that's the Bill Belichick way. But I think once he got to Tampa, and then obviously post-retirement Brady, you see a lot of just at least have a fun time. He's one of the guys.
He's definitely a bro.
And Gronk's always been that guy. Even he was the one guy Belichick couldn't put a leash on.
Gronk's a fucking dude, man.
He's a partier, man.
He was on a show. Me and Shen used to watch a show called The Masked Singer. It was basically like they were in like costumes and everything. And like I saw him, I'm like that has to be Gronk. The way he's moving and everything, it looked like. And he took the helmet off. I was like, I fucking told you. I was like, it was Gronk.
That's awesome.
But no, it's definitely that whole situation is funny. But I find Gronk cool. My favorite part of that whole roast though was when Belichick got up. He's like, you guys might have seen the roast of me, the 10-part
series roast on Apple TV.
That was the best part
of a 75-year-old guy that isn't known to have the best sense of humor. I'm giving Belichick his flowers. He earned it. He made me laugh. He had the crowd laughing. Like, props to you, Belichick. It takes a lot of balls to go up there and face a lot of people that probably don't like you. So,
hell yeah. And
I was happy with it.
I may not like Bill Belichick as a person. I respect him, though, because he's one of the most winning. Is he not the second most winning coach ever? Mm-hmm. And, took a team that was nothing for a little while with Drew Bledsoe and everything, and took them to, how many Super Bowls did Brady win? 5, 6?
He won 6 in New England. He went to 8.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry, he went to 9.
Yeah, that's freaking nuts, man. So all respect. I say he seems like a little bit of an asshole, but obviously it's a persona. What I mean? So it's changed stuff up.
No, I get it. He's the pretty boy, and especially when he's beating your team year after year. I understand why a lot of people don't.
You're
like
not
him,
wrong.
but
I say I'll give you that. I say the Jaguars are getting their ass beat by everybody those years.
Hey, listen, the one time, the first game I went to living in Jacksonville was after New England lost the Super Bowl. It was after the Miles Jack wasn't down game. It was week 2 in Jacksonville. And obviously Jaguars fans hated New England at that point because it was right after the Miles Jack thing. It was, at the time, I think there's been one since then, but at the time it was the hottest NFL game ever recorded.
Oh, yeah.
110 degrees. Yep. I knew immediately that New England was not going to play well because they're not used to playing in that heat. And sure enough, the Jaguars went out there and kicked New England's ass. They held Gronk to, I think, 2 catches on the day.
Jaguars.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey shut Gronk down, and that was a long walk out of the stadium for me. So, yeah, I get it. Everybody wanted to see New England lose. Now everybody's happy that they're barely winning 5 games a year, but it was a fun 20 years as a fan. That's what I'll say.
Hey, I'll tell you. Like I said, I'm a Boston fan for everything besides New England. I just couldn't. My stepdad's a New England Patriots fan, and I have back when they were playing the first Super Bowl against the Giants, the one where the guy caught it on his helmet.
David Tyree.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful game.
I was such an asshole. I was probably 9-10 years old. I made a sign on styrofoam that had a bunch of bells on it that said "Go Giants" and shit. And right when they scored, I ran out there and I'm shaking it. He's laying on the ground, throwing his hat against the fucking wall, and he's like, "Fuck this!" And it was one of the best things ever.
A wild game.
But we are coming to the end of the podcast here, and I got one final question for both of you guys. And
absolutely, man.
Thank you guys for both your time, by the way. I do appreciate it, man. And like I said, open door policy. If you guys ever want to come back on, shoot the shit, or talk, man, you guys are always more than welcome.
Definitely, man. We're down.
Yeah. So I asked this question to everybody who is their first time on the podcast, and is, do you feel successful? And if you don't, or you do, in what ways? And you guys can both, whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, man. I mean, as myself personally, my career, I've definitely gone through the shitter and, had wrong jobs and lost jobs. And I am very happy with where I am at my career now. Success isn't just based off your career growth. So I'm very happy with who I am as a person. I know I surround myself with a good community, and there's always room for growth, but I'm very happy with the way my life is going and the trajectory in which I see myself going. As far as the Jort Boys goes, again, there's been times where we felt on top of the world. There's been times where we've been at each other's necks, ready to shut it down. I think we're very happy with where we are right now. Who knows what parties come up in the future? We do have things in the works, so stay tuned. Follow us on Jort Boys. We'll be dropping our next event here, hopefully within the next couple weeks. But we're happy with it. It's if it ends up going somewhere bigger and better and becomes our $1 million idea, so be it. But if it just continues to be where it's at now, we're having fun with it. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I feel successful with who I am as an entrepreneur and as a business person and as a human being.
Hell yeah.
Damn, we went from Tom Brady's an asshole to such a deep question.
The reason why I asked that question is because it is a deep question. There's been people who have sat here and they're worried about money, and that's what that makes them feel successful. And there's other people who are in their career, or for me, my relationships. I'm lucky to have a wife that supports me, a family that supports me, and great friends. Yeah. It just really depends. So that's why I ask everybody, because everybody's answer is different.
Yeah, I don't know. I think time tells how successful you are. I think you don't find out you're successful until your deathbed. I think when you die is truly when you know if you're successful. Because that, like you were saying, everyone's definition of success is different. Mine, I don't care about the money. I don't care about my job or anything I do. It's more of just the impact I made when I was on Earth. The friends I made, the memories I made, just stuff like that. I guess so. I'll find out if I'm successful the day I get buried.
And as you said, man, you can't take that money with you. You can only take the memories, and hopefully you're surrounded by
So spend it, baby.
That's damn right. It's you can buy some Happy Dads.
Hey.
But no, man, that's a big thing. That's why I asked that question, because a lot of people pause when I ask that. They actually have to think about it. And we've had people who sit here and say, no, I don't feel successful, and this is why, and blah, 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 and everything else, man. It's a hard question, and I think you both answered it very eloquently, by the way. But as I said, guys, you guys are awesome. I enjoyed this conversation. I'm glad I got to learn more about you guys, and you guys will definitely see me at some more events, obviously cornhole and everything, or anytime you guys got something going on, let me know. Be more than happy to come out and say what's up and come show some support.
Absolutely, man. Again, follow Who Are You Pod on Instagram and all social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Jort Boys. Shout out to our friends over at Zero Bad Days Company. I know y'all are watching right now, and they they told us to give them a little shout out. So UFC, Dana White, Happy Dad, Jahidi's, whoever finds it, Wackos, whoever gives us a little bit of love on this pod. Thank you guys for your support. We wouldn't be here without all you guys. So again, Connor, thank you for your time, man. And we look forward to doing this again with you for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Well, make sure you guys go give them a follow on everything. Obviously, everything will be put in the description, so you guys can go find them really easily. You guys will be coming out. Your episode will be coming out in like 2 weeks. So obviously, you guys will be all more than aware. I'll let you guys know. You guys will be, I'll send tags, collaborations, all that BS. So everything will be up there. So make sure you guys go give them the follow. And as he said, man, come give us a follow on the social media. Who Are You Pod for everything from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the normal spots, and including YouTube. If you guys are checking us out and you're watching this video right now, just press that subscribe button. It's free. It helps me out.
Just click it.
Just click it. It helps me get seen.
That easy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I say I'll get the bouncers coming in and get your ass. But make sure you guys give us a follow on all of that. And also, as I was telling you guys, we do have sponsorship opportunities open for you guys. So if you want to, promote your business, promote your brand, or anything you got going on, hit me up on either social media or you can email me. It's going to be whoareyoupod@yahoo.com, and we can talk numbers and go from there. But as I say every single week, y'all, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.